Hi, I'm Tony Bancroft. I went to a screening actually just this weekend and I saw 哪吒2. I was blown away by what I saw. I haven't seen anything like that really in computer animation to that level of quality, of scope and scale, really anything like that in the US. So I was very impressed by what China has done with that film. I was a Disney animator and director for 35 years in the animation industry. I co-directed Disney's Mulan, but also animated on Lion King and Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, and Emperor's New Groove. Pixar is already like this really top studio. And for China to come out with a movie that tops that even is very impressive and adds a lot of credibility for China. I particularly like this beat here. I love this pose too, because it just feels the audience with this feeling of like, it's not a problem, and it has a lot of character to it. And then as you're watching him, he gets punched. And you can see they use the color of the nose and the lighting to help see those hits. Because if it was a profile, you could see that nose touch a lot easier. But from this over-the-shoulder angle, you had to really rely on the color changes to show that impression that he's making on the nose. I just heard that Ninja 2 has already surpassed Inside Out 2, which for the US has broken all the records. So to imagine that this movie worldwide is already such a phenomenal success is so phenomenal, so great. I mean, I'm totally surprised by it. Yeah, I think there's a lot of space in the global market of movies, and particularly with animation, for China to rise up and be a major player. I really do. I think that now is the time that all the international studios out there that are producing animation can really bolster up their products and really make a lot of great movies. I think we're hungry for it. I think the audience is there. They want to see more Chinese films, and Ninja 2 and Ninja 1 has really proven that. I'm so encouraged by what's happening in the Chinese animation market, and I just want to encourage all the script writers and animators and artists out there to continue to reach for great quality. You already have a wonderful culture with interesting legends and folk tales. Do that, bring that to the world, and I think they're gonna love it and love you for it. I personally wanna say to Zhao Zi, who's the director of the first and the second 哪吒 films, I'm blown away. I think that what you've done with the creativity and the quality of your crew is phenomenal. And the first one I loved, the second one is even better. So I can't wait to see what you make with number 3. I went to a screening actually just this weekend and I saw 哪吒2. I was blown away by what I saw. I haven't seen anything like that really in computer animation to that level of quality, of scope and scale, really anything like that in the US. So I was very impressed by what China has done with that film. Well, in the US, when we make animated films, we really, especially from my Disney background, we really concentrate a lot on performance, the acting of the characters. We want to get across rich, engaging characters that are empathetic for the audience that they could fall in love with, right? That's always been how we do our animation here in the US. And I feel like this new movie, 哪吒2, is really rising up. It's the level of quality of animation, the level of performance and acting was much stronger than I've seen in the past. I don't want to give away too much, but there is a really emotional scene between the main character and his mother. And what I found was that there was such an engaging, emotional scene that it made me start to feel emotional too, just watching it, because the animators did such a great job of bringing across the emotion of哪吒, and he's confessing, so I don't want to give away too much. He's confessing something to his mother. There's a great scene. He starts crying, and I could hear myself and others in the audience around me, they started getting emotional too and crying. And I thought that was a very engaging and well-acted sequence. Family values were very strong in this movie, and I feel like that's what makes it so universal. I feel like even a stronger emotional core to it at its roots between the family that really holds it together and in a heartwarming way. And then on top of it, it's a big action movie. It's got all kinds of great scenes and fighting and that sort of thing. But at the core of it, it always comes down to that emotional core. I just heard that Ninja 2 has already surpassed Inside Out 2, which for the US has broken all the records. So to imagine that this movie worldwide is already such a phenomenal success is so phenomenal, so great. Yeah, I think there's a lot of space in the global market of movies, and particularly with animation, for China to rise up and be a major player. I really do. I think that now is the time that all the international studios out there that are producing animation can really bolster up their products and really make a lot of great movies. I think we're hungry for it. I think the audience is there. I've visited China several times. I've seen others, I've visited artists there and studios. And what I've seen is that over the years, every time I go back, it gets better and better. The artists are better. The creativity is more universal, and so it really has not become so niche as just to being successful in China, but it's reaching out now to other countries. I feel like that's going to keep happening too as we develop more and as Chinese artists get better and better. I'm so encouraged by what's happening in the Chinese animation market, and I just want to encourage all the script writers and animators and artists out there to continue to reach for great quality. You already have a wonderful culture with interesting legends and folk tales. Do that, bring that to the world, and I think they're going to love it and love you for it. I personally want to say to Zhao, I'm blown away. I think that what you've done, with the creativity and the quality of your crew is phenomenal. I can't wait for Ninja 3. I can't imagine it doing even better than the first two, but the audience is there. They love it.
What do you think are the key factors behind the tremendous success of 哪吒2, both domestically and internationally?
I think there are several key factors that are behind the success of the film. First is that it really taps into universal ideas and universal emotions. You know, everybody around the world cares about personal transformation and personal growth, and the film is about personal transformation and personal growth.
What do you think are the key factors behind the tremendous success of 哪吒2, both domestically and internationally?
I think there are several key factors that are behind the success of the film. First is that it really taps into universal ideas and universal emotions. You know, everybody around the world cares about personal transformation and personal growth, and the film is about personal transformation and personal growth. The way the story is told deeply relies on emotion, and the emotions that it evokes, both what I'm seeing here in the United States and also in China and around the world, are pretty universal emotions. So I think that those emotions are resonating. Obviously, it also builds on the success of the first film. The first film was a really big hit, and it paved the way. So the second film is a pre-aware title. Visually, it's gorgeous. It's really stunning. The action sequences are great. It is inventive, and it feels as though it's both traditional and also new. So it's something that I think audiences are always looking for. Audiences are looking for something that they can relate to, that feels comfortable, that feels like something that they can expect, but also something that expands on what is expected. And visually, particularly the battle scenes, are fantastic. So I think it delivers on all of those fronts. Well, you know, the quality of Chinese animation has been growing exponentially year after year. And for me, watching this film now, it is at the level of highest level international animation that audiences have come to expect. So I think that the film is now just perfectly positioned for audience expectations. Audiences will not be disappointed at all by the level of animation. But, you know, animation just in and of itself is a technical matter. What really counts is character and storytelling. And that's one of the places that I think that this film excels. The characters, particularly the character transitions between the two protagonists and as they go into the same body and out of the same body, and the way that changes, it's so resonant. We just feel it emotionally as humans. That's really where animation begins to soar, that it's not just about technique, it's not just about technology, it's about character, storytelling, emotion. And I think that's one of the places where this film really excels. Also, I think that in the past, people associated Chinese animated films purely with Chinese mythology, purely with Chinese history and more traditional approaches. This has elements of traditional approaches, but it also exceeds them. It passes them into the completely contemporary viewpoint, and with a completely contemporary point of view, a contemporary character, contemporary humor. It's also really funny. So all of those things combined, all those elements combined, are, I think, what makes the animation stand out.
What impact do you believe 哪吒2 has had on the global perception of Chinese animation?
Oh, well, the perception of Chinese animation, which was always growing, has been just completely accelerated, and it's hit a new landmark with this film. Now, I think that the world will look at Chinese animation and say that Chinese animation is it is second to none. Everybody who made this film should be so proud of their artistic accomplishment, also their business accomplishment. And it's going to pave the way for more films in this genre. And it's also going to pave the way for the emerging animators in China, people who are coming up and just developing their craft. They're going to see a clear pathway in front of them for how they can expand both as artists and also as entrepreneurs. It's really exciting.
I'm so impressed on so many different levels on how with the accomplishments of this particular film, because I had already seen the previous film, so I was sort of expecting it at the same level, which was brilliant. But this rose even higher in terms of production design, sound design, music. I mean, the story itself was so complicated, and all the twists and turns kept me guessing the entire time. So I was very, very engaged, sort of on the edge of my seat the whole time.
What's expanded and great about this movie, first of all, the quality of the animation, the production design, everything is amazing. And also the different ways that the story operates on different levels. So it's obviously there's a lot of great action, but there's also a lot of touching scenes. There's also a lot of philosophy. And I think it's combined a lot of layers. So I think that that's really incredible, because it's a major achievement. I think everyone in China, particularly in the Chinese film industry, should be really proud. 姚泽导演您好，你这个电影真的是太厉害，还有，它就让我期待您下一步会发生什么。真的祝贺您，这个是一个很大的一个成就。
Congratulations! I am so impressed at the level of expertise that you have achieved with this. I'm really eager to see what you do next. This is much more than competitive in the Oscar categories. I'm looking forward to seeing this film compete in next year's Oscars, and I hope to see it so that I have an opportunity to vote for it as well.